This is Venceslas Square. It's more of a street, actually. If you're expecting a square, you might be disappointed. At the very top is the National Museum. In front of it is the very well-photographed St. Venceslas on his horse. Nowadays, there's mainly a lot of shops and some hotels. Not a lot of interesting things to see here after the museum and the horse. However, historically speaking, many important events in Prague and Czechoslovakia's history happened here. Behind me is the Powder Tower. It was built in 1475, and it's called the Powder Tower because supposedly in the 19th century they hid gunpowder in between the bricks. Next to the Powder Tower is Obecní Dome, the Municipal house. It's probably one of the best examples of Art Nouveau architecture in Prague. There's a French restaurant inside, there's a very nice, beautiful cafe, kind of touristy, and actually a beautiful concert hall. So if you are looking for a place to see a concert while you're in town, this is one of the best. This area, since it's where the royal palace used to be, is also the start of what's known as the royal route. It is the route that the royals used to take from their palace up to Prague Castle, and we're going to walk that now. The cafe is in as well as the cafe. One of the neat things about Prague is back in the old days, before they numbered their buildings, in order to identify them, they named them by a picture that was on the building. And a lot of these you can still see today. The House of the Black Madonna, for example, the reason it's called that is because of the Baroque Black Madonna that's on the corner. This building here is the House of the White Peacock, and you can still see the beautiful peacock here. So if you're trying to find a building based on its address in Prague, you may be confused because there's always two signs, the red one and the blue one. The red is the old numbering system, the blue is the current one. So if you see an address in like Prague In Your Pocket or another guidebook, you'll be looking for the blue. Welcome to Starometská náměstí, Old Town Square, kind of the heart of the city. Tons of things to see and do here. There is the Teen Church, a Gothic church built in the second half of the 15th century. Next to it is the Gothic House of the Stone Bell. It's now part of the City Gallery of Prague. They show modern and contemporary art exhibits there. Next to that is King's Palace, which is part of the National Gallery. Also shows exhibits. The street Dlouhá heading off of Starometská náměstí is a great place to go if you're looking for bars and restaurants and things like that, right off the square. Immediately behind me is the memorial to Jan Hus. He was a Catholic Church performer, and he was burned for being a heretic, and this statue was placed here the 500th anniversary of his burning. Behind that is Pařížská Street, and that is kind of the fancy schmancy street in town. You'll get your Cartier, your Louis Vuitton, all that good stuff. And then, of course, Old Town Hall and the Astronomical Clock, two of the biggest and best known things in Prague. So here we are in front of the Astronomical Clock in Old Town Square. Can you see me in the midst of all the people? Probably the #1 tourist attraction in the city of Prague. It was built by a watchmaker, Mikuláš of Kádin, at the beginning of the 15th century. At the top of every hour, the 12 apostles come out and do a little procession from the windows behind me at the top of the clock. So there it was. Was it worth it? Next, we're going to follow the crowds to the #2 most visited attraction in Prague, Charles Bridge. The route from Old Town Square to the castle is always packed. There's lots of little shops, some interesting, some not so interesting, but be prepared to fight your way through.
Sorry?
Here behind me is Charles Bridge, Karlov Most. It is one of the top must-sees in the city, and it's always packed with people, and there's people selling things and everything on it, but it is a sight to see. It's a beautiful Gothic bridge, and you kind of can get a better view of the whole thing from down below. So early, we got up at 5, and we have quick meal or whatever, and a shop when we want. If you do manage to fight your way through the crowds and the vendors, one of the best reasons for coming up onto Charles Bridge is the beautiful views. You have the river, you have Old Town and its 100 spires on one side, you have Prague Castle, St. Nicholas Cathedral, and Malostranning on the other side. You have Letna Park, Petřín Park. It's a really beautiful spot. Here we are at Prague Castle. If you're looking for a friend to be in one of your pictures, the guards here are more than happy to accommodate. Well, there's many. There's a lot of violence in the statues I find.
No i oczywiście poczekam, ale pani mówi.
At Prague Castle, one of the best things to do, and you definitely must go into, is St. Vitus Cathedral. In the summer, you probably will have to wait in line, but it is definitely worth the wait. Inside St. Vitus Cathedral, right behind me, is St. Wenceslas Chapel. This is where the good king is buried, and this is also where the crown jewels are kept. St. Vitus Cathedral is known as a royal cathedral because not only are the crown jewels kept here, nobles are buried here, and coronations were also held here. Once you've gone through the castle out the south end, you'll come to this nice little spot that has amazing views over the Vltava and back to Old Town Square. When you're exiting Prague Castle, be sure to take the exit towards St. Venceslas Vineyards. These were newly opened this past summer, June 2008, and it took about 18 years to get these opened. And beautiful vineyards. There are 3 very nice restaurants located here as well. And they say in 5 to 6 years, these bad boys will be producing wine of their own. One of the best views of Prague can be had from the Petrín Tower, which is in Petřín Park. It's 60 meters high, 299 steps to the top, but you are rewarded with beautiful views of the whole city, the Castle, Malastrana, Charles Bridge, the Vltava, across to Old Town Square. And what else I like about this view is you get to see kind of the burbs of Prague. So you don't only get to see the center, but you get to see the outlying areas as well.